Larry Murphy's career was ultimately wasted by his inability to escape controversy and public scrutiny. From domestic violence accusations to being run out of his hometown, Murphy's story isn't the triumphant tale you'd expect from a Hall of Famer with 4 Stanley Cup rings. Instead, it's a cautionary tale of how even the most talented athletes can squander their legacy through poor decisions and an inability to manage public perception. How does someone who ranks 5th all-time in scoring among NHL defensemen become better known for being a disappointment? The answer lies in the complex and troubled journey of Larry Murphy, whose off-ice issues and on-ice scapegoating created a perfect storm that tarnished what should have been an untouchable hockey legacy. Born in Scarborough, Ontario in 1961, Murphy showed early promise. After winning a Memorial Cup with the Peterborough Petes in 1979, he was drafted 4th overall by the Los Angeles Kings in 1980. His rookie season was record-breaking, setting NHL marks for most assists and points by a rookie defenseman with 60 assists and 76 points total. These records remarkably still stand today, over 4 decades later. His regular season statistics tell the story of what should have been an unblemished career. 1,615 games played, 287 goals, 929 assists, and 1,216 points. These numbers place him 5th all-time among NHL defensemen in scoring, trailing only legends like Ray Bourque, Paul Coffey, Al MacInnis, and Phil Housley. Murphy even briefly held the NHL record for most games played by a defenseman before Scott Stevens surpassed him. The trophy case appeared impressive too. Murphy won back-to-back Stanley Cups with 2 different teams, the Pittsburgh Penguins in 1991 and 1992, then the Detroit Red Wings in 1997 and 1998. He remains the only player to win 4 Stanley Cups during the 1990s. He was a 3-time NHL second All-Star team selection and represented Canada in international competition, including the 1987 Canada Cup victory. But beneath this veneer of success lay a career repeatedly derailed by controversy and public criticism. The first major crack in Murphy's public image came in 2000, when he faced serious legal trouble near the end of his playing career with Detroit. Murphy was arrested and charged with assaulting his then-wife, an accusation that immediately damaged his reputation in hockey circles and beyond. While the charges were eventually dropped, when his wife declined to testify against him, the court of public opinion had already rendered its verdict. The incident added a serious off-ice stain to his profile that would follow him for years. Perhaps the most defining chapter in Murphy's troublesome career came during his time with the Toronto Maple Leafs from 1995 to 1997. Following his successful stint with the Pittsburgh Penguins, Murphy was traded to his hometown Maple Leafs. What should have been a triumphant homecoming quickly devolved into a nightmare. Murphy arrived in Toronto as the highest-paid player on the roster, creating immediate pressure to perform at an elite level. But when the team struggled, fans directed their frustrations squarely at Murphy. He was mercilessly booed by the home crowd at Maple Leaf Gardens during every game. The Toronto media needed a target for the team's failures, and Murphy became the designated scapegoat despite putting up respectable numbers. His statistics in Toronto weren't terrible. In his first season, he recorded 61 points in 82 games, and in his partial second season before being traded, he managed 39 points in 69 games. But these numbers didn't match the sky-high expectations that came with his salary. Some observers noted that while talented, Murphy had lost a step speed-wise and lacked sufficient support on the Leafs roster. The situation grew so toxic that in March 1997, near the NHL trade deadline, the Maple Leafs practically gave Murphy away to the Detroit Red Wings. The official return was listed as future considerations, but reports indicate this amounted to Detroit covering only $800,000 of Murphy's remaining $2.5 million salary. This meant Toronto was willing to pay most of his contract just to see him leave, only for Murphy to immediately win consecutive Stanley Cups with their rivals. The Toronto experience branded Murphy with the damaging label of scapegoat, a perception that contrasted starkly with his success before and immediately after this turbulent period. This public humiliation in what should have been a career highlight, playing for his hometown team, left lasting damage to his reputation. Lightning struck again years after his playing career ended. After retiring in 2001, Murphy transitioned to broadcasting, working with Fox Sports Detroit from 2003 as a studio analyst, between the benches reporter, and color commentator for Red Wings games. For a decade, he seemed to have found stable post-playing success. Then in March 2013, Fox Sports Detroit abruptly terminated his employment. The official reason provided to Murphy was unsatisfactory ratings. Murphy himself expressed shock, stating he didn't see it coming, and believed he was performing his job well. Curiously, the network's public statement made no mention of ratings issues, instead claiming they wanted the primary broadcast team to call remaining games as the Red Wings pushed for the playoffs. The dismissal sparked immediate debate. Analysts questioned the logic of blaming a commentator for overall broadcast ratings, which are largely driven by team performance and market interest. The timing, mid-season during a playoff push, struck many as bizarre and unprecedented. Speculation grew that Murphy had again become a convenient scapegoat, possibly related to the Red Wings being the only American NHL team experiencing a ratings decline that season. The firing generated significant fan backlash, including a "Bring Back Murph" social media movement. But unlike his playing career, where he could immediately prove critics wrong with on-ice performance, Murphy was left without a platform to redeem himself. A disturbing pattern had emerged throughout Murphy's professional life. Despite elite credentials and respect among peers, he repeatedly found himself subjected to public controversy and scrutiny, creating a significant disconnect between his Hall of Fame statistics and his lived experience in the public eye. Each incident, while distinct, added another layer to this complex public persona, making him increasingly vulnerable when subsequent challenges arose. The cumulative effect of these controversies, the domestic violence allegations, the public scapegoating in Toronto, and the questionable Fox Sports Detroit firing, severely damaged Murphy's public image in ways his on-ice achievements couldn't repair. While respected for his talent, particularly outside Toronto, these incidents created a powerful counter-narrative that painted him as a lightning rod for criticism and trouble. Even his resilience in bouncing back couldn't fully restore his reputation. After the Toronto debacle, Murphy quickly found success with Detroit, winning 2 Stanley Cups and validating his value as an elite defenseman. Similarly, despite his controversial firing from Fox Sports Detroit in 2013, he was eventually rehired by the same network, rebranded as Bally Sports Detroit, in 2019, resuming his role as both a studio analyst and fill-in commentator. When returning, Murphy simply stated, "Detroit is home, and I'm excited to get started." Murphy also ventured into coaching with 3ICE, a professional 3-on-3 hockey league featuring former NHL players. His coaching philosophy emphasized puck possession, reminiscent of his own playing style. In 2023, Murphy led Team Murphy to the 3ICE Patrick Cup Championship with a dominant 7-1 record, earning the Eddie Johnston Coach of the Year award. Yet despite these late career successes, the shadow of controversy continues to hang over Murphy's legacy. Unlike other Hall of Famers who retire into universal admiration, Murphy's story remains complicated and divisive. The domestic violence allegations, though charges were dropped, represent a serious mark against his character. His time in Toronto remains a cautionary tale of how quickly hometown hero status can transform into scapegoat vilification. Larry Murphy's story is ultimately one of wasted potential, not in terms of statistical achievement, but in terms of public legacy. Despite 4 Stanley Cups, despite ranking 5th all-time among defensemen in scoring, despite a Hall of Fame induction in his first year of eligibility, Murphy never achieved the universal respect and admiration his on-ice accomplishments warranted. Instead, he became defined by controversy and criticism, a pattern that followed him from his playing days into his broadcasting career. His legacy serves as a stark reminder that even extraordinary talent and statistical success can be overshadowed by off-ice issues and public perception problems. Larry Murphy may have amassed impressive statistics and multiple championships, but his inability to escape controversy and scapegoating prevented him from securing the untarnished legacy his talent deserved. The Hall of Fame defenseman with 4 Stanley Cups will forever be remembered as much for being booed in his hometown and for his personal controversies as for his on-ice brilliance, a tragic waste of what could have been one of hockey's most celebrated careers.